Alrighty, let's have a quick recap. You know, I always say quick recap and then I basically just read my notes out, or at least a lot of them out. I'll try and narrow it down a bit here. So it is still, believe it or not, the first of Uktar. But it's almost into the second of Uktar at this rate. But anyway, it's the first of Uktar. And we pick things up with lots of shuffling around in sewers. And there's a bunch of distractions and shenanigans, basically, to keep the guards from walking up on the Hand of Aegis, hiding down a corridor. And eventually the group pushes down to the left of that main long sewer line down the heart of the sewers. Excellent wordsmithing. And immediately it turns out that they're not the only people in the sewers. And the Hand of Aegis comes across a lone guard, a group of several guards with a couple of weave worms, another couple of guards, and they bail. They bail down another long, much narrower sewer that eventually leads to a locked grate outside of the city walls. A little bit of exploration establishes that they are probably somewhere around about the outside of the east gate, and there is a visible guardhouse slash gatehouse slash city wall area. And a plan is concocted. Bardor and Eska sneak out, head towards, and try to secure some, I guess disguises would be accurate as a term. And boy, there are some dice that get rolled. Somehow, Bardor disguises himself as a Drake Warden and tries to just walk right in. And he has 0 chill and gets stopped. Eska comes out looking disheveled and acts like they've been up to some shenanigans. Nobody's convinced. Until Eska uses a suggestion. At which point, the slightly, like the vaguely senior guard, a wood elf with a goatee, agrees to let Bardor go about his business, and this is a very important note. Eska slaps Bardor on the butt.
Had to be done.
Bardor goes into the guardhouse and turns down the opportunity to pick up some heavy crossbows and maces, but does grab some tabards and a shield, and shoves them out the window to Eska. Shuts the chest back up so there's no obvious signs of shenanigans. Jumps out the window and hurry down to meet up with the rest of the group. A plan is put into place where the Hand of Aegis are masquerading as a special Drake's Warden group from Delzamur searching for a fugitive. I think that was what you settled on. Or, nope, I'm not sure what you settled on, because then my next note says, or are you shoring up the defenses against a threatening mage? Not seeking the mage, therefore making it a slightly lower risk. Everyone is wearing some sort of element to blend in. So there were 5 tabards and 1 shield. So Varys is carrying the shield and wearing Eska's cloak. Everyone else is wearing the Drake's Guard tabard over their armor. Eska's hair was braided by Claire to make her look a little bit more professional. For some reason, I also have a note that says Eska attempts to use bardic inspiration but isn't a bard.
I don't remember that, but maybe I did.
No, I have to listen back to that.
Always worth a shot, you know?
Yeah.
I think you were just trying to give Cosette a little sort of G-up.
Oh, yeah. That's
because Cosette is leading the way. And so a reminder of the marching order, though it is on the screen. It's Cosette, Eska, Smokey, Suvaris with Kedox on shoulder, Bardor and Claire at the back, or Claire and Bardor. And so we pick up with the group coming back down that long corridor that led from the east gate. And you know that when you left, the first turn to the left would be a group of 3 Drakesburg guard. So, Cassette, since you're leading, you are able to make that turn and run into the 3 guards.
Yeah, and that was actually my question is what the story was, because I kind of forgot.
I'll give
so
you
we're
guys if
turning
you want
left?
to.
Yeah, like I just would
I was about to say, it feels like
turn back and whisper.
nonstop. Let's go. No planning. Pressure's on.
I knew we were about to walk forward when we left, but
It's fine. Yeah, you
Just
can
wanna
have
make
a
sure we have
moment
a
here
plan.
to just get it locked in. That's okay.
So
I think it could be important.
are we going through this group?
It seems like a good bunch to try. Because I don't think we found another. It felt like we hadn't seen. I could be wrong. Like
There was
an
a
actual way
singular
round.
guard that we could test it with. That was in that one little bottom
Oh, yeah,
spot,
that's
that
true.
Bardur.
If it helps, you think he probably left during all of the stone throwing shenanigans that Esther was up to and joined up with the other group.
Yeah, we
So
don't
that sort
really
of
know that he's
coalesced
still
into one
there.
large group.
So the idea is not try to explore, and if we get caught, use this. It's to just see if this works right up front, and then if
Run,
not,
run for our lives.
All right, that's an option.
Am I wrong in thinking that we haven't really found a way around? I feel like we tried sort of every avenue we could, and it's all been dead ends or filled with guards.
yeah,
Mostly
Um,
filled with guards.
I think we're going to
It's
run into
pretty
people
accurate.
eventually.
Yeah,
We've done really good to, I think, not have done it so far.
yeah.
It's like the first area in Metal Gear.
Yeah, I think there was one possible avenue, but still on this left that we could have gone, but it goes extremely close to the big entrance. So
I mean, I think that's part of the thing is like the heading towards the center. We were told things get more heavily guarded. So I feel like it's inevitable that we're going to be confronted with running into guards easily.
Yeah, and you also got the impression that around the right there was an area that was very heavily like there was a heavy presence off to the right.
And just the right
from,
side
from
of the map,
Bardor
you're saying?
scouting. Yes.
Okay.
Which is why you picked left in the first place.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then what was the story we were going with?
I don't remember. It was one of those.
To an extent,
The-
that may just be up to what Cosette says when she walks around the corner.
What do you like best?
I personally, I'm all for kind of almost the Bardor approach. Like, not that that's helped us very well so far, but just like I'm supposed to be here, so I'm at my job, so I'm just gonna like, hey, what's up? You know, like the less conversation, the better.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's kind of the way she would want to play it. But then, I mean, obviously, we get asked. You know,
Yeah. So,
have to
so
go.
Varus, he would immediately ask you, "Well, and what when they start asking you questions?"
and we say, "Sorry, I can't talk. The commander needs me." You know, just keep it general.
Could say it is top secret and we cannot reveal the specifics of our
Yes,
investigation.
it's above their pay grade.
Exactly.
You can get away
What?
with a lot of stuff if you just say it confidently.
And flash a badge while you're at it.
Oh yeah, so she's not wearing a tabard. She has the shield. Right?
I think so.
I
I have
have
it that
a shield.
I have it as
Yes, there
Bardor
was-
has the shield. Wait,
boy.
no, I don't. Silvarius has the.
yeah,
Okay.
I had
I thought-
Silvaris had the shield, and everyone else has a tabard.
Okay.
Yeah,
And I'm using Eska's green cloak.
Oh,
Yeah.
so I have a tabard and not a shield.
right.
You have your standard shield,
Right. Okay. Got it.
Not
Oh,
a Drake.
that's because we had split it
Warden
up
shield.
thinking he was going to get out all of them, and then he didn't end up being able to get them all out. So, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And then we also logicked that there's no way that Claire would allow you guys to leave behind the shields that you borrowed. So
Yeah.
Claire has one and probably has another one slung over her back right now.
We got to deliver
Walking
these shields
shield
to the
wall.
captain.
We have one special shield that's being delivered. It's unmarked. Don't ask why.
Okay, and then last question, Phil. I was thinking about this because I immediately thought of this being a moment where she would kind of take a deep breath and like ask for just a little bit of guidance, when she gets in these stressful situations, and use her channel divinity. But it's not a spell, so it's not like but it is an ability. It is a intervention. So is that something that I know, from what we can see, it's just people, but like, is that like in game, would I know that would have a similar effect as a spell and may be able to be either canceled or detected, or I mean, would she know that?
Give me a religion or arcana.
Okay. All right, 15.
Okay. So your knowledge of weaveworms is obviously limited. But your knowledge of your connection to Eldath is a lot more established. Your general understanding here is that while your magical abilities are given to you by Eldath, they still interact with the weave in the same way that a wizard's would. So, if you were to cast a spell, like bless whatever, that still triggers the weave in the way that any other spell would.
Yeah, okay. So the fact that lasts 10 minutes, you're going to have some sort of carry.
Well, here's what I'm going to say. You would also know that this ability that you have is not. It doesn't feel like that.
Oh,
You
okay.
don't. You're not channeling the weave to achieve something here. Especially in this case, it's essentially like a prayer that emboldens you.
Okay.
So this isn't a magical effect. This is a faith-based spiritual thing that happens. In the same way you feel like when you lay on hands, that's not a magical effect.
Okay.
That's faith-based. So while your spells still interact with the weave, things like this would not.
Okay. Cool. Good to know.
Yeah. Okay. So you walk down the narrow sewer, having to walk single file to avoid being uncomfortable, and you see the torchlight as you get slowly closer to that turn on the left. Feel free to move yourself as you see fit.
Just before we go around the corner, Eska gives Cosette a pat on the shoulder, a sort of geeing up pat on the shoulder. I can't say it, but a pat on the soldier as well.
Bardor gets a pat on the ass. I just get a pat on the shoulder. Fine.
Yeah, I don't want to get a reputation.
So as you're around the corner, you see the 3 guards there talking, and the one who's sort of they're sort of triangulated around another junction, and only one of them is facing towards you initially, but he does see you around the corner. And we'll say for now, I'm going to assume that the conga line continues unless someone says otherwise, and we can just use Cosette as kind of our marker.
Sounds fair to me.
Yep.
So yeah,
I think she's gonna go ahead and like actually use her channel divinity, kind of like as she's about to walk around the corner. I think she's just gonna kind of like put her head down, close her eyes, and just kind of like whisper a little, almost a half prayer, half kind of pep talk to herself, just like stay calm, let the words come to you, kind of like just kind of under her breath, and then walk around. So that'll kind of start the 10-minute clock just in case, because
yeah,
I think that would be more natural.
you got it.
Okay, and I'm just going with the kind of head straight ahead. She'll do a little like, if as soon as one of them turns to make eye contact, she'll give a hey. What time of day is it? She'll just give a greeting like a evening.
It is dark.
Yeah, evening, and just kind of go to make her way through. Just kind of make eye contact enough to not make it weird, but then just kind of look forward and immediately go, and kind of try to walk in between them.
Okay. Are you going to walk round to the left or past them to the right?
Thing. I think probably
You've got a left and a right.
Straight,
left and a right-ish.
Yeah, straight with the kind of right curve past them.
Okay. I would say as you get into that sort of middle section, you see the one to the left immediately, well, almost immediately, like 10, 15 feet, turns round to the right again. But let me get a group persuasion check.
Boy.
24.
Nice.
That's quite high.
Not good.
Wow.
That's the way to start the evening.
Gonna help make up for some of these other ones.
Oh boy, that's not without the that's without the +5, so 13 total.
Okay.
8 for Savari.
Okay.
4.
No.
You have a plan. You use your channel divinity, and then you roll a stupid 3. I just don't understand.
Here's the good news. If it wasn't for that channel divinity, this would be a very different situation. But between that and the natural 20 that Eska rolled, you walk through, say hey, and the guard who's kind of looking at you gives you a little nod and then looks back at the motley crew following behind you, kind of raises an eyebrow, especially when Silveris rounds the corner with his little pseudo dragon up on his shoulder. And but clocks the very obvious markings on the uniform and just gives you a nod. All good? That's all he says to you. Just all good?
We completely ignore him.
Oh, like with a question?
Yes.
I didn't realize there was punctuation.
Yes,
on it.
please.
She replies with a let's see we're talking about snarky office comments prior to playing.
That could be better.
She gives
Yeah, there you go.
just working for the weekend.
All right. I'll give it that. And it's just a vague nod, and everyone kind of agrees. It's you're never gonna find much dissent from a comment like that amongst guards. So you head down. You see the tunnel moves off to the right. As you get there, you see this in front of you. So, passageway comes to stop in front of you about 40 feet or so. About halfway down that distance, you see another turning off to the left, and then it opens up into a bigger space at the end, where you see Sylvaris. Please roll a d20.
Boy. D20.
Oh, I forgot about these ominous D20 rolls.
A 4.
Where we see 15
Where-
guards.
You see an empty space.
Ah.
Ignore
That
that.
was artistic.
It's like a cool football play, you know, where they like circle and then,
Yeah.
you know, oh, the wide receiver's gonna go break to the right.
So yeah, you have two choices. It looks like that at the end there, that passageway is gonna turn back to the right on the one side and probably go left on the other side.
Oh, yeah, okay. So actually, when we get up there, she's gonna peek around the corner to the first one.
Okay.
And just kind of also like just as soon as she does that, unless she sees something crazy, kind of like turn to Eska and say, "Take a peek down the, the next one."
Eska will just wander by and take a peek.
Okay. Are you wandering loudly, quietly?
We're not in eye shot of anybody from down the corridor, right? It looks like we've turned far enough.
You think that you're probably clear?
I will sneak for now then.
Okay. Give me a roll.
Probably means this is going to be a double one. 15.
Okay. So you see to the right, passageway angles down and away.
I in my mind, I imagine it connects with another passage that we've seen.
If you advance a little way, you could probably confirm that.
I want to know what's to my left before I do that.
To your left, you see passageway and what looks like it opens up into another chamber.
I will wander into the middle real quick then, just to look both ways.
Okay. To your right, you see, looks like it does open up back down there. It's a little hard to see. There's a lot of boxes down there.
Mm-hmm.
Listening, you do hear some chatter and maybe even a faint hiss coming from the right.
Okay.
And logically trying to sort of join the dots, you think that's probably roughly around where the pebbles were happening. Cosette, please roll a d20.
Oh.
Cool. 20.
Ooh.
Just get that out of the way.
Yeah. just use it on this. Why use it on your skills?
Use it when we're spawning enemy minions.
Okay, you see up ahead of you.
It's just going to be 6 weave worms standing on top of each other, isn't it?
Like in a cheerleader triangle.
Yeah.
You see a group of couple of guards. And a weave worm hanging out there. They're not currently looking in your direction. You think you're being quite stealthy.
I will... oh, sorry.
There is also light coming from... let me mark that for you so you can see this sort of general direction here.
Okay. Maybe a torch on the wall or something.
You would imagine something along those lines, yes.
All right. I will slowly back up and head back to Cosette and say, weave worm, maybe we try your corridor first?
Yep, sounds good. And then she'll just kind of continue that kind of march, not like a fast pace, but trying to be sneakier. And
Can I also prompt Kedox to actively be kind of like smelling, sniffing for anything that kind of smells not the same?
Yes.
Like abnormal
Absolutely.
smells in the efforts of trying to, unless, well, either
Give me, yeah, give me a perception check. Does he have advantage on sniffs? I don't know.
advantage on
Right.
wisdom checks that rely on sight, hearing, or smell.
Absolutely. Go for it.
Fruitly. And here we go. Clocking in a 23.
Okay. In that case, please give me Eska and Smokey. Give me D20 rolls.
14.
8.
Smokey, please re-roll.
First reroll of one of those.
Suspicious.
9.
8 not good enough? How about 9?
About 9.
9 is good. Thank you. I accept your 9. Okay. So here is what their little what's his face? You know the chap.
Pseudo dragon.
That's the one. Here's what he says. You see in your mind's eye an image of lots of tiny bugs. And it is heavily implied that those are, if you were to continue on the route that Cosette is going, and let me reveal a bit more for you. You get the impression that that would be if you went forward and kept going forwards. He's currently not smelling anything to the right that concerns him. And you do see that there is another passageway that leads off to the right. So in front of you have a passageway. Again, it's about 40 feet or so. It opens up into a large area off to the left. It's very dark and dingy down there. And you can all kind of feel that it's already a damp area, but it feels like nasty down there. And there's a strong sense of decay coming from that way, and that is especially what Kedox is picking up on. Decay, and he's hearing and smelling creepy crawlies.
the way we're going, sorry, I missed that.
That would be straight ahead.
Gotcha.
Like ahead of Cosette?
Yes.
Okay.
He's not getting that vibe from the right. Although, Silverius, give me one more roll, please.
Just a 20?
Yes, please.
Okay. Boom.
Give me
9.
one more roll, please.
10?
How about 16?
I accept your 16. Yeah, his general advice is nothing bad coming from the right.
And
So-
just to recap, we saw the boxes, but we never really got a good look at like what they are, what's in them. We just know that there's a bunch down here.
There's a bunch of boxes. Yeah, a lot of in this area not so much, but certainly where you were earlier there were a lot of boxes, like just off from that main hallway. or main sewer pipe hallway thing, there were a lot of boxes sort of like in the immediate, like immediately off to the left and right of that. It seemed like the main passageway had been kept mostly clear of boxes, although there were some in that larger chamber where you initially saw the bigger group of guards.
Okay. Okay. Keep going, and I guess we'll veer to the right.
And as we're moving up Silvaris, he'll just utter that, Chinox, smell death ahead. Quietly.
How are you advancing?
You're telling me.
Everybody.
I'm just kind of walking, just like at a normal pace, like not in a hurry to get anywhere, but also not trying to be like soft stepping or anything like that. Just trying and impersonate a guard best you can.
Okay. Make a please hold. Make a persuasion check. Or performance. I think I know which one you're going to go with.
Yeah, better at persuasion. +5, 18. Well, I'm assuming... Well, hang on. Count any bonus to persuasion check. Yeah. So, yeah. 18.
Okay. All right. Nothing happens. And you reach another bend in the pipe, and you see another junction that seems to be going in two different directions. One to the left, one to the right. And Kedox's nose is saying there's nothing too alarming here at this time.
Okay. I'll look around the corner to the left.
You see a T-junction just another 10 feet ahead of you. You would imagine that turning left is going to take you back towards the smell of death. Turning right would...
Yeah, okay. Before turning the corner, she'll like back to make sure adjusting to go a different way or changing anything. Nobody has any.
Whilst we're walking,
yeah.
Do you actively you just look back to see that, or do you kind of like look back like, is this the right way, or is this
she
good?
Just kind of like looking
like
back because she doesn't want to talk, like so. Without having to, so she's just like looking back and like just kind of doing she's pointing to go around to the right, just kind of like doing like a thumbs up, like question, just to make sure.
Now, just to clarify, the deathy smell would be, I guess, left and left.
Like here?
Yeah. So like, I just wanted to make sure that you knew where I was pointing at, basically. So like, that way, bad smell.
Okay.
Down there.
Because I was contemplating just sending Kedox to scuttle along the wall and peek around the corner since he can.
Yeah, if you signal her to just kind of hold up for a second, makes sense.
Okay, yeah, when Cosette looks back, Silvaris kind of holds his hand up like one, like, hold. And he'll head whip Kedox over that way.
Alright, by all means, start moving Kedox and I'll reveal.
When was the last time Eska showered? Are we sure we're not just smelling at Eska?
I mean, I did just take a dip in the sewage earlier on.
Ratty. All right. What's Kidox's dark vision? I forget.
Standard dark vision.
So
He's
60.
got yeah, 60 feet dark vision. Blind sight 10 feet.
Okay. So he can absolutely see that this corridor comes down here, links back up to that wide area where you just were, and then carries on a little bit further down. So that's to the left. To the right, there is a longish corridor that continues. There is a right turn there. And he can just about make out a hint of another turn up to the left. And Cosette, can you please roll a d20 for me?
Yes. Which numbers am I trying not to roll?
Any that we've already rolled.
Got it.
We've already rolled that. Try
Son
again.
of a bitch.
I'm proud of you.
13?
We have not rolled that.
Okay. That's got to be lucky, right?
Lucky
Sure.
13s.
So make a what would this be? Either intelligence or charisma roll for Kedox, please.
Oh, intelligence or charisma.
Yes.
Well, they're the same. Charisma, because why not? Oops. For first one, 16.
16. Okay. There's like a pause as he tries to explain to you what he's seeing. And it's a little confusing at first because he can't just exactly replicate what he's seeing sometimes when he's communicating. So he's trying to kind of give you a heads up of what you're seeing or what he's seeing. But the overall impression is he's giving you a heads up that there's some sort of living garbage creature that's currently around that junction up ahead on the left.
Okay.
So that's around here-ish. Well, that junction. It's sort of like it's actually like a little more like in here-ish. But he's very much aware of a critter that's there.
Okay. Yeah, relaying that back to the party. Some sort of creature down that path.
Like something that's not a weaveworm?
One can presume. Not often does Kedox struggle with conveying a message, but it clearly is not a worm. More of a... for lack of a better description, garbage pile. Just more sentient.
Doesn't sound like who we are here to find.
That was at the far north end, you were saying, Phil?
Yeah, like the top of his vision.
Okay. Um. Real quick, he's gonna send Kedox just to the next T intersection to peek around the corner. But not up towards the questionable.
Make a stealth check for Kedox, please. Because I'm assuming he's
Yes,
sputtering around
stealthy.
carefully.
Um,
Eska, please give me a d20.
9.
11.
Please be bad. Please be bad. Bad for Phil. Bad for Phil. Good for us. Good for us.
Okie dokie. And Smokey, can you give me one as well, please?
Does this say,
Just a straight d20.
oh, 5?
5. Okay. Okie dokie. So, here's what's happening. Kedox scutters down, and he's still sniffing, and he's getting a very bad smell from up ahead. Very bad indeed. The smell of sentient garbage, essentially. There's a turn to the right there. He's not really picking anything up from there. He thinks there's something or someone there's a little passageway off to the left as he's looking down to the right. That follows.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks there's someone down that little passageway. He also in his mind hears the word food. And he hears slithering coming in his direction from the corridor to the north. As we're looking at the map, technically it's actually south, but according to the map it's north, and we're going with that for ease.
Looking north.
He gets a clearer idea of what is moving towards him. And there is indeed something moving towards him. It's still hard to say exactly what it is, but he can see it now. And what he sees is a weird combination of legs and tentacles and garbage and also a giant toothy maw. And it's moving towards him. Not particularly quickly, but it's moving in his direction.
Okay. So Savaris is going to get kind of this message received, and he's going to convey to Kedox in his mind, lure it south, or lure it, further down beyond. And he's going to tell everybody else to squish forward around out of sight of this T intersection and remain
Incredibly quiet.
So like,
and try to just carry it on down past them.
keep moving like around this kind of U.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Make a Make a what's the word I'm looking for? Initiative roll for Kedox, please.
Oh,
And I need everybody to make stealth check.
do we have pass without a trace still?
I don't think.
Seems like a long time ago.
Did we?
Yeah,
It's
I
for
think
an
a long
hour,
time is.
isn't it? I think it's
Yeah.
only for an hour.
Yeah, and you got that was like as you were going in, I think.
Yeah.
And there was like the whole adventure off to the East Gate area. So I'm going to say that's passed for now.
18 initiative on Kedox.
Well, that's pretty good.
24 for stealth.
Ooh, 15.
19.
Hey, you rolled a good roll.
I did. I
Angie.
rolled a 13.
Dun, dun, dun.
3.
It's because he's shouting, keep very quiet, isn't it?
He's like, stay quiet. And he's like the most audibly possible.
Yeah.
Let me get
Stage
this.
whisper.
Let me get this. Let me get this. There we go. Okay. So yeah, you guys can run around the corner there. Kedox does get to go first. What can you see on the turn order right now? Out of curiosity.
Kedox, garbage, Kedox. No, Savaria, sorry. And then a bunch of 0. Well,
I see.
sorry, everything's 0.
I see Kedox, the monster, and then all of us at 0.
Yes.
And but the monster doesn't have a name?
No.
No. Unless his name is
It does
17.
have a number, though.
Yeah, that's fine. You can see the number. I don't care about you seeing the number. It's just a number, isn't it? Okay. So, Kedox, you may move.
I just looked up in the monsters manual. There is no number 17 monster. So, we're on our own, you guys. Kedox is moving past this pathway.
Okay. See the creature lumbering down. And once again, you hear, Kedox hears and can communicate just the word food.
Oh boy.
It's Kedox's turn again.
Are these squares 30 feet?
They are sort of
Just correct me if I'm over moving, but he's basically just trying to
10-ish.
like kite this thing.
okay. As he gets there, he kind of looks around and is hit by that smell of death again. And he looks down to his left, behind him, I guess, where he's facing, and just sees the floor squirming. And as he looks back down the corridor, he sees this thing start to pick up pace. And once again, just in his mind, he hears, food. And Silveris, you're probably best positioned to see this at the moment, as kind of like the caboose of the group.
Is it dark down that aisle?
It is dark.
I
the
see
moment.
nothing.
You hear this sort of like rumbling boom, boom, and splashing as something large goes past the that exit way that you guys were at. For the record, you do just see the pathway here kind of cuts back and turns around, and you can see a little bit of flickering light vaguely coming from down that direction, Cosette. Based on Esker's description earlier, you suspect that probably leads back to where the two guards and the
yeah, okay.
weave worm were before. Kedox, it's your turn. You would note, Kedox, that thing moved a lot further this time. It has picked up a pace and it is galloping towards you.
Okay. Morals kicking in. Oh man. So Kedox is gonna land right in the pathway, and I want to hold a Silvarius action to pocket dimension Kedox when that thing gets as close as he can.
Gotcha.
Kind of like playing laser light with a cat.
Yep.
But with a Kedox.
So on its turn, this thing gets right up there and is in that zone. And so you see this thing, and it basically is as wide as the sewer. And it's galloping big, thick legs and slimy, gross tentacles. And this mouth just opens up impossibly wide. The mouth is as wide as the torso. And it reaches down towards Kedox. And just as it's about to bite, you bamf him away. The last thing he hears is the sound of scuttling. As something happens down there. And you can now all hear as that creature starts yelping. There's this sort of weird kind of noise. You don't know exactly what's going on, but something is happening down there. You do also vaguely hear someone say, "What the hell was that?" Carrying through the corridor. You know what? Let's see.
Were we trying to slip past?
Do they hear that? I think they do. All right. Give me a Severus. Since it's your moral code that made Kedox stop, let me have you roll, please, a percentile dice.
Okay. Oh no. A 9.
Okay.
9%.
You listen nervously. You do not hear the sounds of anyone being eaten right now.
Okay. Well, he will whisper to the group.
I somewhat lured it down the path, but it is fast, and presumably keen senses.
Shall we move while it is distracted?
Do we see? Well, I guess we see the. So I don't know. That would want way. So are we able to turn around? Back the. She'll ask. I guess Silverius. We now that the monster's gone, can we down the way it came from?
We should be able to.
Is it dark down there? You said it's
Uh,
dark
current-
down at the end of that corridor.
Yes, currently, there's no obvious light sources, in any of the other directions aside from the one where the two guards were. There's a faint flickering. If you were to come out, to that T junction where the creature just ran down, to the left, there's a very faint glow, like way down at the end. Which is, you would assume, where those guards had been.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But there's nothing currently on the other directions that you'd see.
Okay. I guess we run and go.
Head back the other way.
As you creep around, you hear the sound of something large and wet and meaty splashing down into the bottom of the tunnel, and little noises again of the creature crying out in pain.
Ugh.
Something weird is happening down there, and you do not know what.
Yeah, we're gonna.
If you do look to the left, because there's a little bit of light, every now and then you just see like the light get obscured by like a flailing tentacle or something. But that's it.
She will not look too long. And just kind of turn and start to kind of do like more brisk walk, still being quiet, kind of like rolling her feet. So much more sneaky than.
Understood. Let me see.
I think her inclination is to kind of get down a corridor, so we're not straight walkway. So she's gonna probably turn right down this corridor just to kind of get up a straight line.
Okay. Understood. We're maintaining your stealth from before, which is pretty solid. Eska and Smokey made up for slightly less stellar roll from Silvarius. Okay, so you're heading to the right, you said?
Yeah.
At this point,
yeah, unless you see
so
something
yeah,
specific.
you've got the long tunnel leading down. You know there is a passageway off to the left, based on what Kedox was able to describe. But it's a ways down, and obviously, thinking about it, you would imagine that's probably going to end up with potentially similar results to the one that you found previously. That most likely is leading out of the city. There is a passageway to the right as you look there, and again, you're going to be in a situation where there's more paths leading off. About 30 feet down, there's a passageway on the left. Another 20 feet down, it opens up into a wider space and looks like it's leading left and right. You have choices.
She'll go up to that first left. Just kind of peek around.
I'll go check out the other one.
Okay, Cosette, what you see is a little area here. Please make for me a perception check. Would be a disadvantage, I would imagine.
Not gonna be good. That's a 2.
Okay. You see a the passageway kind of opens up, kinks a little bit. You see some rags off to the left, kind of nestled in up against the wall. There's a couple more boxes in here, which is a little surprising. You hadn't seen many boxes this far away from that main central passageway before. And you see, yeah, that's basically it.
I guess she'll go down that way because she's kind of interested to see what's in the boxes.
Okay.
So she'll kind of turn around, like go up to, up the hallway a little bit and maybe get to one and kind of turn around. That's the group. Should we see what's in these?
Yes.
Real quick, Eska, you saw there's this is like a convergence of 4 different passageways.
Mm-hmm.
One leading north, one coming from the way you came. There's one that heads south, but then it immediately turns off again. And you can see the flicker of light that again probably leads you to believe that it's going to take you back down towards where those guards were previously.
Mm-hmm.
You do see a little nook there that potentially someone could try to hide in, but it appears to be vacant.
Okay. So I don't need to go check
you
it out harder? Like I get the sense that it's vacant?
You think that's vacant, yes.
Okay.
They sort of leading off to the north, you have a route north that keeps going north. It does look like there's another passageway that turns off there. And then heading east, that passageway just keeps going east, heading in the vague direction of the main central pipe.
Okay.
Sorry, this spot here or this spot here? They're dead ends?
The second spot was a dead end that Eska thought could be a potential hidey nook, but is vacant. The one to the right that you, the first place you highlighted, that is a tunnel that appears to keep going.
Okay.
But currently nothing has come of that. Did you pop Keydocks back out, just to confirm?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so Eska comes back and relays that information, and then Cassette, you say, should we go look at some crates?
Yep. She'll maybe use her shield or somebody's sword to see if she can prop up the top of it.
Well, while she's doing that, Eska will just quietly say into the file, "We are here to help you. We are here to get you out." Just in case somebody is in the boxes.
Make
They're smuggling people?
make a perception check.
Oh, there it is. 6.
Okay. So you kind of head up towards these boxes. And Cassette's about to pry one open. You just sort of put a hand before she does that. And just say, you say that. And then from behind you, you hear a voice say, "Why talking to boxes?"
We all hear that?
Oh, yeah. Just a soft voice behind you.
Do we anything? Freak me out?
Yeah, Spooky would
Oh, sure.
immediately look behind us, see what was
Oh,
there.
okay. You look behind you. Sure. You see from inside the pile of rags a figure, frankly, not too dissimilar to someone who, not that long ago, was looking for Ratty.
Yeah, Eska has to
They,
remind herself that that was her.
It's an old, withered gentleman. Hard to say exactly what species right now. The ears are covered with thick, matted gray hair. There's some bushy eyebrows, a straggly beard, and just was clearly curled up in that pile of rags. And just kind of sort of blinking at you, wondering why on earth you're there.
I guess we'll stop the crate and just kind of turn and be like, "Who are you?" Still trying to whisper a little.
Their name's Angus. Who are you all?
She thinks a little bit. She thinks about saying, like, her immediate reaction is to, like, pretend to be a guard. To, like, play it off. But then she thinks, oh, this person can help. We're just passing through looking for somebody. Do you know your way around down here?
No, I did not get eaten.
Okay. Good job of that.
Yeah.
Well, how do you not get eaten?
Stay in my rags mostly. No one bothers me here. Got a little bit of supplies over there. And he kind of lifts a slightly shaking hand towards the crates that you're about to open.
What's in the crates?
Some old supplies someone forgot about. Didn't notice when they went missing.
Like food?
Yeah, I like food.
Does it stink really bad in this area?
It's not great.
If I smell next to one of the crates, does it smell like rotten food?
Give me a perception check.
Ooh, natural 20.
Okay.
That will be 26.
That's quite high. It doesn't smell as bad as you expected from the crates themselves. What you do detect, and it's a little hard because obviously you're in a sewer, so like none of the smells have been great. It's basically you've not been you've been mouth breathing for a lot of this. But you engage the nose a little bit here, and what you do detect is a little bit of you're getting like a slightly salty and a slightly like vinegary tang in the air that just about cuts through the other smells that are a bit more pervasive. So you, based on that, you would suspect that there's probably some sort of preserved food in this that is helping keep Angus around. No problem. Yeah, I would need the rest of this stuff. mostly just shit. And he just kind of wheezes, which you think might have been a laugh.
Would you be interested in joining our group? um, Guess we can ask him. We're looking for a friend down here, choice or by necessity, but you know anybody else who knows their way around this place enough not to get eaten?
Well, I had a friend down here. Was a little rat friend. I think he got eaten. There's a big some kind of big drain type area up a little ways up around here, and he kind of gestures vaguely north. And says, I don't go there. The things move too much around there, but I did spy that there may be some good hiding places if you can get past the moving stuff. So if someone's hiding, they could be hiding up there. Ain't nobody come down here in a long time. And when he says here, he kind of looks to gesture to his corridor.
I'd like to still pop up in a crate and just see.
Okay. Do you say anything to him about that, or do you just pop up in a crate?
Well, I guess, I mean, if he seems to be, like, concerned that I'm doing it, or say anything, or, make a sound, then I'll say if I see what's in here.
He just he's like propped up against the wall behind him and just sits there watching, doesn't seem too phased by it.
She'll kind of nudge her shield in there, try to pry. Just
okay.
Stop.
That lid is not very securely placed. Comes away very easily. And inside, you see what looks like just a bunch of jars. Hard to tell exactly what they are, but there's a bunch of jars in there.
We're talking like jars of pickles and stuff, not jars of potions or anything that seems to be of significant value.
You would imagine probably more pickly than potion of anything, yes.
I ask Eska to open every jar and just try them, just to make sure none valuable.
What?
Just take a little sip out of each one, just to be sure. The only way we can know.
That sounds like work for Claire.
I don't think we should be messing with this guy's crates. That seems very rude.
So if we continue this way, he's talking this way, right?
Yeah.
We'll get to the grate area, he said?
Yeah, it's like I don't know if it's a drain or... A lot of stuff seems to kind of flow down that way. But it's... I suspect there's something living down there too. That's why I'm here and not down there, you know?
She'll turn to the group and just kind of ask, do you guys want to go look? It may be dangerous, but...
You mentioned it may be a good hiding spot.
Checking out.
Somewhat of a reason why we are here.
He looks over to the old man and he says,
And why exactly are you down here?
Just getting away from everything else. Wasn't a lot more for me up above. I like the quiet.
this guy seems odd to me. Does that sound truthful?
Make an insight check.
Oh, it's an 11.
He's a little hard to read, but you're not getting any hint of deception from him. I think the if you're having any issue with sort of like appreciating where he's coming from, that's probably more due to the fact that what he's saying is just Silveris's worldview is very one way about how life should operate. And this guy is so outside of that box that Silveris is really struggling to comprehend.
Indeed. And he'll just kind of give him a little stare and then just turn away.
Ready to go? Kind of, she'll take like a old piece and just kind of get. He's like sitting on the ground, right? So she'll like go down and get on one, just kind of like hand it to him and see if she can like take his hand and give him just the gold piece and say, "Thank you for your help. Appreciate it." Like just kind of hold his hand as he reaches out if he takes the gold piece anyway, and do just like a lay on hands for just like a couple points. I don't know that do anything, but just kind of as a thanks.
You feel kind of like the warmth pass through your hand, and you see he kind of brightens a little. Well, mighty kind. Yeah. Welcome to visit Old Angus anytime. Try not to die now.
Right.
And he just kind of looks at you for a second and says, I like you better than those other guards. They all seem like... And he just slowly kind of slumps back down, going back to his rest.
All right, if nobody has any more business with Ragman. And in this time, we don't hear anything like the monster returning, or, I mean, nothing particular coming back from the direction we came, right?
Make a perception check.
Just so bad at those.
And then don't ask.
Oh, 18.
Just so bad. No. You do not hear the sounds of a creature coming back.
All right, then I super on.
Okay. As you kind of head out of the northern exit of Angus's little nook, you see the passageway takes a turn to the left, but opens up. It heads back out to that long corridor that you had seen before, but then there's a turn to the right that turns to the right, I guess.
Oh, that tracks. Okay. Yeah, she'll peek down there.
Yep. You peek down there, you see the passageway leads up and away to the right again, curving in. You do note the water, now that Angus has mentioned it, you feel like the water's moving maybe a little faster here, as if maybe there's a slightly bigger slope down. No, we're not talking like a big slope like the one you all fell down at the beginning. But the gradient's just a little more here to kind of create a bit more of an inclination for stuff to flow down.
Okay. Guess we're in.
Passageway keeps turning around to the right. You do not see any light ahead. You do see, as you peer down that way, it looks like it's opening up into a wider space.
Before I get there, I'll probably turn to Aska and see if can you scout ahead?
Yes, I can run up there real fast. And when I say run, I mean crouch. And she will scarper forwards.
One second.
All the time trying to think if she was so in her old man character that she just physically manifested him.
As you are getting ready to leave, Claire just reaches and says, just tread carefully, Aska. And she reaches out and touches you, and you feel like little, like the hair on the back of your neck just pricks up a little bit, as she casts Enhance Ability on you. To give you Cat's Grace, which gives you advantage on Dex check.
Oh.
Super cool.
I cartwheel down the corridor.
Do you also see a save point here? Is that
Floating crystal.
Yeah, there's an
Flowing circle on
auto-saving
the
symbol
floor.
at the top.
way before big 2 doors or something?
Right. Does the music change?
Real quick. Yeah, well, I'm trying to stealth here. We haven't been.
So are you
generally.
trying to stealth down these areas? Okay.
Well, all I was.
Because I can cast Pass Without a Trace
got
on you too.
Oh, if we're going to try and generally be, maybe when I get back from the scare, I can tell
Or
you
on
if,
us.
if we need to.
If
That might
we're
be the
gonna
way.
try to be
Yeah,
stealthy.
that was my idea. Just like peek, and then if like it's something that we all need to get through.
Okay.
But really, I was just
Okay.
thinking we could get a better idea and not make as much
I-
noise.
I also, Dungeon Master,
Hello.
if it's shadowy, I technically have advantage on my stealth rolls.
Okay.
Do I mean, I know there's acrobatics too. Do you think she would still want to do that, or do you? I mean, she could help me with my wisdom rolls,
Oh yeah, that seems reasonable.
because she'd
She'll
probably know that I'm.
you're quite sneaky.
Yeah, she'd know I'm hard to see in the
Yeah.
shadows.
I think that's acceptable.
Cool.
I'll tell you which one that is in a second.
I mean, I'll regret saying that when I need to do an acrobatics check in a moment, but
That is wisdom. Is...
like probably owls.
It is indeed Owl's wisdom, yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure what they were going to
okay.
call it.
Make a stealth check for me.
Alrighty. 20.
Feel pretty stealthy. You creep up to the edge here, and you see wide open space. Space is probably about 30, maybe 40 feet across. There are a number of entrances to this area where you see slightly stronger flows of, we'll call it liquid, coming in from different corridors. You do see off on, so it's kind of vaguely octagonal, but not really. It's a weird shaped space. There's a large pile of accumulated refuse and detritus in the middle of the room. You can hear very clearly water slowly trickling away down there. Go ahead, give me a perception check.
Alrighty.
With advantage.
Hooray. That is going to be... Ooh, 14.
You see off to the kind of southish area, there's one exit that leads out and into a distant corridor. There's an exit to the north. There's another exit. You can kind of, from where you haven't really fully entered the room, but you're kind of aware that the wall to your right stops after a little way, maybe 15 feet, and then opens up into another passageway. And then you can kind of make out on the wall that's kind of, I guess it would be approximately southwestish. There appears to be a cutout in the wall there. Or like a break in the wall, maybe only 3 or 4 feet wide.
Now, remind me what he said about what we were looking for.
Who said?
Angus. Wasn't
He just said, he said that there were just some, like nooks and stuff up there.
Okay.
Also, you do see the refuse piles in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's some fairly substantial piles that have collected over time. At least that's what it initially looks like. As you just kind of sit and are looking around the room, you realize that the piles are moving a little bit.
That's disturbing.
They don't seem to be moving at you or anything. They're just like, there's some slishing and sloshing, and definitely there is movement there that does not fit with the behavior of piles of poop and trash.
Uh... Okay, I'm gonna try something. Because I feel like I don't have a good enough report yet. I'm just going to quickly do a small gust cantrip. And I'm just going to hold out my arm and channel a little breeze into the middle pile of garbage and sort of try and, you know, get one of the boxes to flap up or something. Whatever's in there.
So which effect are you doing?
I'll do create a small blast capable of moving one object that is neither held nor carried and weighs no more than 5 pounds. I'm just looking for something that's in there. I don't know what the garbage is, but something that looks like it's not too heavy that's in that general middle area, and I'm just looking to, you know, catch it with a gust to move it, just to see if that, you know, it's almost like touching a spider's web to see if there's a spider.
And I note that it has vocal and somatic components.
Yeah, I'm not gonna use, I'm not gonna do careful.
Okay. So, you cast your spell, and you see, yeah, like a barrel lid type thing get flicked up, and it sort of rolls across the floor a little bit, and then bumps into something. And let's see. You see, as you cast your spell, you see these two shapes rise up a little bit from within the refuse.
Now,
Large, hulking shapes.
you tell
You
me
see-
time-wise.
Yep.
As soon as I have the chance to do another action, I'm going to attempt the dodge action and to back up. But you tell me when
Okay.
that's a possibility.
You see them rise. You see tentacles suddenly spring up into the air. And they're like feeling the air, looking around. You see that there's no like movement towards you yet. But all of you here in your heads, crush. And Eska, you take the dodge action, start backing up. You feel agitation from within that space.
I mean,
you're
I'm
fine.
not going to stop backing up.
No, that's fine. Your 20 stealth is still active.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sort of... I just on high alert and trying to get back out of sightline back to the gang. And if nothing stops me, I will whisper to everybody. There's maybe more of those things in this room. I maybe something different. I don't know, but it's a worry.
And we all heard rush in our head,
Crush.
crush. But we all heard like we in our heads that we heard this, not audibly.
That is correct.
Okay. When Kedox was conveying that the messages from what he was experiencing, Did I get the sense that there was communication that he was hearing? Words?
Yes.
Okay.
And Kedox is able to sort of express to you that this is the same experience
Okay.
that he had before.
Yeah, he'll agree with Ascani's.
This matches entirely with what Kedox had experienced.
My concern is there does seem to be passages off and nooks and such within that room. So much as I want to avoid it, do we have better choices?
While you're pondering that, Sivaris and Cosette, please roll d20s for me.
There's the 10.
Sivaris, please re-roll. In fact, both re-roll. That's rubbish.
1.
Oh boy.
And 13.
Gosh, okay, we don't have many options left. Hold on, how many have I got? What?
You can new dice.
Okay, give me d8s each, please.
7.
I'm sorry, did you roll a df? That's what it says.
Yeah, I don't
It
know
says
what that is.
Rolling
I
one
clicked
df.
fudge and I didn't know what it was going to do.
He rolled 1 D
So
fudge.
I rolled a DF and I got a 0.
No fudge.
6 on my standard D8.
But I feel like 0 fudge would actually upset Cosette.
Okay, hold on. I am sorry. Can you, Eli, can you actually do a d6 for me?
I can. Right here. 4.
Okay, perfect. Thank you ever so much. You're too kind. All right, so, yeah. So this is the situation you have. Then you strongly suspect that there are probably 2 of those creatures in that space. Yeah. What's it to be?
So far as he'll just mention that.
Just had a quick question, and it may be too dark to notice. Does this floor look less traveled than the other areas? Because there seems to be a pretty heavy prevalence of guards. Like, does this look like an area that's just as traveled on the ground, or is that kind of hard to see?
Good question.
It's a little tricky because it's dark, but
And all the food.
yes,
Yeah, but
and yeah. Give me a perception check.
uh, 10.
It is hard to tell. It is clear that there is a bit more buildup here, which could mean either there's just more buildup here because you know it's sloping down, but it could also mean that there's a bit more buildup here because it's not being pushed out of the way.
Yeah.
Certainly, you haven't come across any guards in a while.
Yeah, that was her thought process. If it was still pretty well worn, that these things wouldn't necessarily attack passerby. I don't know.
I suppose if we feel like we need to go in there, it could be a good time to get your pacify the trace, and we could try and just evade their attention. That would be one option. But I don't know. What do we all think at this stage?
I can take key dogs in there. And they can start as investigatory. Should
To
things
distract?
go south. A distraction he has proved useful for.
It is a decent sized area, but I do not know how far those creatures can reach. Are you willing to risk losing him for the day? Those things seem to be able to move quick in when they really want to.
They certainly can pick their pace up. How high was the ceiling in there?
Let me think.
At the peak, it was about 30 feet. Definitely a much larger space than most of these passageways have been, sort of like 10, 15 feet high. So it does open up into a bigger space.
It's kind of like rounded ceilings or gradually scale up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like a straight edge. It definitely rounds up.
So there is the room towards the top, but the problem is if he's going to go to the edges of the room, he'll be quite low.
I'll just have him scale the ceiling.
Are we gonna re-up Pass Without a Trace?
Does it work on key docks as well?
I think it's just allies. I don't even think there's
Yeah, I can.
a number on it. Just isn't it? Yeah, each creature you choose within 30 feet.
Yep.
That's certainly
Yes.
handy. It's good for everybody.
So I'll cast that.
And Sylvaris will command Kedox to pretty much just, attach himself to the ceiling and quietly crawl up into the room to take a little gander. Aiming for dead center.
All right, let me get a stealth check from Keydog.
That would be normal stealth here. 13 plus 10 for 23.
Well, that's quite high. So he
Passes plus 10, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
he heads in and scuttles up the top. Looking down, he sees these two agitated shapes moving around.
And Sylvaris is actively relaying what you're describing.
Gotcha. So you see, through Kedox's eyes, you see these two large shapes, and you can confirm that these are very much the same types of creatures that Kedox described previously. They are moving around the center of this space. You see these thick, slimy legs and large tentacles idly sort of like swatting around them. You see these gross, toothy mouths chomping angrily at the air, not really at anything, just like they're looking around angrily. Kedok so far feels pretty safe that they're not seeing him. So go ahead and move Kedok's where you would think he would be in this, and then I can reveal more map as he would see it.
All right, so aim for first things first, center.
Alrighty. From there, again, he can see that there is, in the, like I said, southwest wall, there is a small passageway visible. Out of the south entryway where water is flowing in, there appears to be another small passageway, maybe 3-4 feet across. That's like out of the main entranceway into the space and on the opposite wall. There is a larger opening on the on the west wall. And there's another little nook back there with some little clusters of boxes and stuff back in that corner. He's not able to see if there's anything from where he's at. If he's able to see anything in that little southwest wall, or if there's really anything of note in the little thingy to the south.
Okay. All right, so he knows where he came from. He's going to scuttle down the ceiling towards this next kind of section to the west.
Okay. Passageway continues south. And continues south. And there is a little nook. Give me a perception or investigation, please.
Well, you know I'm going to take perception for that sweet, sweet advantage. Or a 6.
Okay. He sees that there are indeed there's like a couple of boxes and some bundles in that little nook there.
Okay.
We will mark this with a little brown marker. So there's some stuff here.
Okay. He's going to, figuring in this situation, he's probably going to crawl along the ceiling to the next little, he's going to kind of clear everything in the room at a glance. So next tiny alcove.
Wouldn't you know it? There are some. It's very similar. There's another situation. It's a nice little nook here. And there are some more things back here. Some crates. That are just sort of like smushed up against the wall. And yeah, some little bundles and stuff.
Okay. Looks like more of the same. He'll continue on down.
Down here, he sees this passageway connects up to the west. To the east, there's a very narrow passageway that leads out into another kind of T-junction. That heads vaguely south and vaguely northeast away. And then there's the little nook opposite on the south wall there.
And a real quick peek down the south wall nook.
This is the biggest nook of all that you've seen so far. It opens up, and it looks like it maybe continues further into the right there. Oh, well, it would be the right as he's looking at it. This is why we use north, south, east, and west. So there's a little, like a nook in the nook to the west. Nook squared.
All right. This is for my own personal. Okay, so he's just gonna go down to the lower section
Alrighty.
to fully investigate this little nook in the nook.
Once again, we see more crates and bundles. Certainly, you would say more here than the other spots. He has not, in any of these, seen a person standing there waving, saying, "Hi, come rescue me, please."
But these crates and everything, do they look kind of like they've been placed here in an elegant fashion? Is there anything suspicious about any of these three setups? Are they similar? Is there...
They are, broadly speaking, similar insofar as none of them look like places where crates should be, insofar as there haven't been crates up here except where Angus had collected a couple.
Mm-hmm.
This is far away from those larger groups. So in that sense, yeah, it's unexpected. They've definitely been put there by someone.
Okay. I guess whilst I got these in front of me, I'll have Kedox go down and investigate.
Okay. Yeah, give me investigation.
What's that core skill? Is that intelligence?
Yes.
Oops. 12.
So, he kind of scrabbles around and he kind of like looks down and sees, as he puts his foot onto it, a very faint silver thread.
Uh-oh.
And that is where we will leave it for the night.
Oh. Oh. What's that gonna mean? And everybody knows this. Sylvaris was conveying this stuff.
That's true.
Keep that in all your notes and records.